Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to register a new trade association. Can I know more about it?
Sure, let me explain more about it. Let's create here.
Hello and hi everyone, a little bit of introductions about trade associations. It is defined to be any associations of persons, of partnerships, or of persons and partnership formed with the main object of safeguarding or promoting the business of its member for the purpose of income tax. A trade association is deemed to be a body of persons and not a partnership. Their main goal is to support and promote their interests of their members. They serve as bridge between the government and the private sector, making sure that the voices of businesses are heard when it comes to policies, regulations, and industry needs. In Malaysia, trade associations plays a key role in shaping the economy. They help companies stay competitive by offering trainings, encouraging collaborations, setting standards, and opening doors to international markets. More importantly, they give smaller business like SMEs to support their need to grow and succeed. So whether it's through policy advocacy, trade support, or professional development, trade associations are essential partners in driving industry progress and national development. The importance of trade association in Malaysia. Trade association play a vital role in the economic and industrial development of Malaysia. One of the primary roles of trade association in Malaysia is industry representation and advocacy. They serve as the collective voice of their respective sectors, representing concern and suggestions to the government and the policymakers. This ensures that national policies and regulations take into account the realities and changes faced by the businesses. These efforts help to protect the business interests. Another significant function of trade association is to foster networking and collaboration. They provide a platform for businesses to connect and share ideas and form strategic partnerships. Regular events such as seminars, networking conferences allow members to build relationships that may lead to new business opportunities. In addition, trade associations play a key role in knowledge sharing and capacity building. They organize training programs, workshops, and professional development courses to improve the skills and competencies of workforce. Furthermore, trade associations are instrumental promoting trade and expanding market access. They actively support export development by organizing trade missions, participating in international expos, and establishing connection with foreign business communities. These initiatives help Malaysian business explore new markets, attract foreign investment, and strengthen the country's position in global trade. In time of crisis, trade associations become essential in coordinating responses and offering support.
Trade association is a non-profit organization formed to represent the interests of specific sector or industry and is subject to tax under Income Tax Act 1967 and other regulation. Here is a comprehensive overview of taxation framework for trade association in Malaysia. For the governance law, trade association usually established as societies or under Societies Act or companies limited by guarantee under Companies Act 2016. This legal form affects the compliance, filings, and tax obligation. And it is governed by ITA 1967 and Public Ruling Number 6, 2020. For clubs, association, and other similar institutions. And for exemption under Section 44, Section 6, it is only trade association may apply for this exemption if their activities are charitable, educational, and beneficial for the public, or the association is non-profit and not for primary gain or private gain. And however, most of the trade association is not qualified for this exemption unless they provide significant activities that benefit the public. Next, for tax filing obligation, trade association with business income must fill the Form C. And if the trade association is not having any business income, they have to fill the form PF. And they also must file an annual tax returns, even though their income is totally exempt. Next, for withholding tax, it is only applicable if the association pays technical fees, royalties, or contract payments to non-resident. And last but not least, for SST registration, usually trade association is not subject to SST unless they provide services. Unless they provide taxable services such as event management, professional fees, and if professional services, and if the annual turnover, if their annual turnover is more than 500,000 ringgit. So then they are subject to SST.
Next, I will continue about tax incentive and relief on trade association. Trade association in Malaysia are treated as body of persons, and they are taxed similarly to clubs or societies. If the association is resident, they are taxed at scale rates, while non-resident are taxed at flat rate of 30%. Now, let's look at the types of income and how they are taxed. Membership fees are usually exempted from tax, but income from seminars, training, or advertising is considered taxable. Under the income tax exemption or the 1995, statutory income from members' subscription fees is exempt, but only after deducting production expenses and capital allowance under Schedule 3 of the ITA. Since the trade association often have both exempt and non-exempt income, they must apply apportionment formulas to split shares cost fairly. For common expenses, the formula is apportioned expenses equals to A times B divided by C, where A is total common expenses, B is income from subscription, and C is income from business sources. And for capital allowance, we use a similar formula, which is apportioned capital allowance equals to D times B divided by C. This ensures only the non-exempt portion is deducted and no overclaiming happens against exempt income. Lastly, trade associations do receive some general tax relief, such as deduction for salaries, rent, utilities, and office expenses. They can also claim capital allowance on business use asset with a portion if share. If approved, they may also enjoy double deduction for HRD Corp training, overseas trade promotions, and participation in trade fairs.
These are examples of trade association in Malaysia. The first one, we have Federation of Malaysian Manufacturers, FMM. They represent the manufacturers in Malaysia. The next one, we have Malaysian Association of Automotive Association, Malaysian Automotive Association, MAA. It represents the manufacturers and distributors of automotive or motor vehicle in Malaysia. That's one, we have Malaysian Palm Oil Association, MPOA. It advocates for sustainability and economic interests of palm oil industry in Malaysia. Last but not least, we have Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents, MATTA or MATA. It focuses on tourism and travel agency development in Malaysia.
Now let's take a look at the advantages and the challenges. Firstly, networking opportunities. Being part of a trade association gives members the chance to connect with others in the same industry. This helps in building relationships and sharing ideas that can grow the business. Second, trade association offer industry representation. They act as a voice for their members when dealing with the government, especially when it comes to rules or policies that affect the industry. Third, members get access to useful industry information such as market trends, new regulation, or business tips which can really help in making better decisions. And lastly, trade associations provide training and development. They often organize seminars and workshops to help members improve their knowledge and skills. Now let's move on to the challenges. The first one is membership costs. Joining an association can be quite expensive, especially for small or new businesses. Second, there might be conflicting interests. Different members may have different goals which can make it hard to reach a common agreement. Third, unequal participation can happen when bigger companies have more say in decisions than smaller members. And finally, trade association can be slow to change. Sometimes they take too long to adapt to new trends or technologies because of their formal structure.
Let's compare Malaysia's trade association with Singapore and United States. First and foremost, in terms of legal structure, in Malaysia, trade association is typically registered as non-profit organisations under the Societies Act 1966. As for Singapore, it is structured as societies or company limited by guaranteed (CLGG) under the Companies Act. And for United States, trade association is formed as 501c6 organizations under Inland Revenue Code. Next, as for their legal status, Malaysia's trade association is treated as non-profit organizations (NPO), but they are not automatically tax exempt. They may apply for tax exempt status under Section 44(6) of the Income Tax Act 1967. By default, Singapore's trade association is subject to income tax under Income Tax Act 1947, and they may apply for charity status under Charities Act to get full exemption. As for United States, trade association is exempt from federal income tax under Inland Revenue Code Section 501(c)(6). Last but not least, non-member income for these three countries are taxable. However, for Malaysia, non-member income can be granted for exemptions. Non-member income for United States will be taxable according to Unrelated Business Income Tax (UB).
Oh, I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.